let's take a moment to explore some profound wisdom from the Stoics, a philosophy that has endured through the ages, providing guidance on how to navigate the complexities of life with grace and resilience. Imagine this scenario. Someone comes to you with a bit of gossip, telling you that a certain person has been speaking ill of you. How would you react? For many, the first instinct might be to defend themselves, to offer excuses, or even to confront the person who's been talking behind their back. But what if, instead, you responded with stoic calm, simply acknowledging that the person might not even know the half of it after all? If they knew your other faults, they'd have mentioned those too. This response is not about dismissing what was said, but rather about demonstrating a deep understanding of yourself. It's about refusing to let others' opinions sway you, about holding on to your own inner peace, and not allowing external negativity to disturb your tranquility. This is the heart of Stoicism, the idea that, while we cannot control what others say or do, we have complete control over how we respond. Now, let's apply this to a real-life situation. Picture yourself at work, perhaps in a meeting, where someone criticizes your ideas in front of your peers. The immediate urge might be to react defensively, to justify yourself, or to retaliate with a critique of their ideas. However, a Stoic approach would suggest something different. Instead of reacting impulsively, you could choose to calmly acknowledge their point, perhaps even thanking them for their feedback. This doesn't mean you agree with them or that you're conceding defeat. Rather, it shows that you are not rattled by criticism, and that your sense of self-worth isn't dependent on others' approval. This level of composure often garners respect and demonstrates true leadership. This idea extends beyond professional settings. Consider your personal relationships, family, friends, romantic partners. How often do we let small criticisms or offhand comments escalate into full-blown arguments? By practicing Stoic principles, we can learn to pause and reflect before responding. If your partner makes a comment that could be seen as critical, instead of snapping back, you could take a moment to think, is this really about me, or is my partner dealing with something else that's causing stress? This pause allows you to respond with empathy and understanding, rather than escalating the situation. The Stoics also teach us that true freedom comes from within. They believed that only the educated are free, meaning that those who have cultivated their minds are liberated from the control of external circumstances. This isn't about formal education, but rather the education of the self-understanding that real freedom is about how you react to what happens to you, not the events themselves. For instance, think about a time when you faced a significant setback. Maybe you didn't get the promotion you were hoping for, or a project you worked on didn't pan out as expected. The Stoic approach would be to recognize that while you can't change the outcome, you can control how you view it. Instead of seeing it as a failure, you could view it as a learning experience, an opportunity to grow and to refine your skills. This mindset shift is powerful. It transforms challenges into opportunities and prevents you from being bogged down by disappointment. One of the most powerful Stoic principles is the idea that men are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them. This means that it's not the events themselves that upset us, but our interpretation of those events. Let's apply this to a real-world scenario. Imagine you're stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting. It's easy to get frustrated, to curse the situation, and to feel your stress levels rise. But what if, instead, you chose to see this as an opportunity for reflection? Perhaps you use this time to listen to a podcast, to think through your day, or to simply practice deep breathing. By changing your perspective, you take control of the situation rather than letting it control you. Another crucial aspect of Stoicism is the focus on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. This is particularly relevant in today's world, where so much feels beyond our control: global events, economic shifts, even the actions of those around us. Stoicism teaches us to focus on our own actions, our own reactions, and to let go of the need to control external circumstances. This doesn't mean being passive or indifferent. It means recognizing where our true power lies. Consider this in the context of relationships. You can't control how others treat you, but you can control how you respond. If a friend consistently cancels plans or doesn't seem to value your time, you have a choice. You can either confront them with anger, or you can choose to address the issue calmly, explaining how it makes you feel without attaching your happiness to their behavior. If they continue, you have the power to distance yourself or to adjust your expectations, thereby maintaining your inner peace. Stoicism also encourages us to reflect on the impermanence of life. The Stoics often meditated on the inevitability of death, not as a morbid exercise, but as a reminder to live fully and intentionally. This might seem heavy, but it's incredibly grounding. By keeping the transient nature of life in mind, we're reminded to focus on what truly matters, to let go of petty concerns, and to make the most of the present moment. Imagine, for example, how this could change your approach to a difficult conversation with a loved one. Knowing that time is limited, would you choose to argue over something trivial, or would you focus on understanding and resolving the issue with compassion? This perspective encourages us to prioritize peace, love, and understanding over pride and conflict. Lastly, Stoicism teaches us to find contentment in what we have, rather than constantly striving for more. In a world that often equates success with wealth and possessions, this can be a radical idea. The Stoics believed that true wealth lies in having few wants, in being satisfied with what we have rather than constantly desiring more. This doesn't mean you shouldn't strive for success, but rather that your happiness shouldn't be contingent on achieving certain goals or acquiring certain things. Think about your own life. Are there areas where you're constantly striving for more, yet feeling unfulfilled? How might your perspective shift if you focused on appreciating what you already have, on finding joy in the present rather than constantly chasing the next milestone?